Hello and welcome, all agents, trainers, Pikmin bloomers, ballers, Peridot daughters, lightship pilots, eighth wall advertisers, and our beloved explorers and wayfinders. Thank you for choosing the Wayspotters Podcast. Wayspotters, as always, is brought to you by the Pokemon Professor Network. Today is Friday, June 9th. We have a lot of good stuff to talk about today. We're pretty excited about it. I'm going to recap the challenge. We got some other stuff to talk about. Before we get into all that, hey Jamal, how's it going?
Hey man, how you doing? Challenges,
yes,
with an S
man.
and a Z. Challenges.
Challenges.
I'm doing good.
Yeah,
man.
it was good.
It's been a busy week.
It's been a busy week. Yeah.
I wanted to thank you. I wanted to thank you and the rest of your countrymen for sending down the smoke from the wildfires. So,
you're welcome.
Charlotte Douglas Airport was closed a couple of days ago for a few hours while we had the smoke from Canada come through. So my daughter, Addison, got a big kick out of saying blame Canada. So just wanted to let you know, wanted to say thank you, and we appreciate it.
There's a lot of people who are on the blame Canada wagon right now. So yeah, my car is basically covered in ash. It's brutal.
Oh man.
I watched it twice this week. I watched it again today. Yeah, it's bad. So they're working on it. I could get into my rant about that, but that's something maybe I'll save for Twitter.
Right. Yeah. Where all good rants should be. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you have anything to
Twitter,
right? Yeah. Even when something good happens, you can just rant about it on Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. 100%. All right. So let's jump in. First, I wanted to issue a correction. Last week, we almost made friend of the show Wood Was Wolf drive off the road, and that's not what we're about. We were talking about S2 cells last week, and we referred to them as S14 and S17 cells. That is not correct. They are level 17 and level 14 cells. That is a really, really bad habit that I've picked up from probably the first article that I ever read about them.
Well, I think I learned it wrong. I think I learned it wrong the first time. I don't think I've ever said it correctly. Despite Wood telling me several times, Jamal, that's not the way you say it in his very cool Australian accent. So I'm going to refer to them correctly from now on, because we don't need him running off into a ditch while he's on the road. We don't need that.
No, definitely not. So on behalf of Jamal and myself, we apologize. We as content creators, it's important to correct ourselves when we get things wrong. So
yes.
And we have a lot of people who are probably new to S2 cells when we made that, and I don't want them being incorrect as well. So we apologize. Second, real quick, I wanted to give a shout out to Agent X. They went on a trip to Mountain Home, Idaho, submitted 15 waste spots, and all 15 came back approved. So that is what we're talking about.
That's just amazing that many go in and come back so quickly. And we won't get into my personal
and get them all approved. So, good job, way to go. All right, now that that's out of the way, let's start the news.
All right, we're going to go into the news. So we should probably hear from our good friend Testone, right? Should we hear from Testone?
Yes.
And now, the latest Niantic news from the Wayspotters Podcast, presented by the Pokemon Professor Network.
Love it.
Yeah, we need to get some music playing on top of that, like some old school ABC, like dun 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 dun.
I have one saved. I'll send it to you.
Okay, cool.
All right. First topic for the news: upgrades are fixed, and I should use quick air quotes when I say fixed, because they say that they're fixed.
Should I do one? Should I do one?
I think you should. I think that you should do one for science. Sarah Amanda, somebody asked, I think it was Unbreakable, asked in the Discord, and then Sarah Amanda's like, maybe let's wait.
It's like fixed is a strong word, right?
But
So I think our. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think Selamat has 4 that are still upgraded. So
right.
I think the group's kind of waiting to see what happens to those 4 before they use theirs.
So I have 3 banked upgrades. I never have 3 banked upgrades. So maybe I will do one. Maybe I'll do one even before the show's over, and then I'll let you know this weekend what happens. So didn't our friend Tintino share something? Should we pull that up on the screen? What he said?
Let me find it. I don't actually have it queued up, so just give me a second and I will find it.
So while you're doing that, I need to figure out, like, so you know my rule. I have quirky rules when it comes to like what I upgrade and what I don't. My main thing with upgrades is if it's going to create a gym in Pokemon Go, I will prioritize that for upgrades.
Yes.
Then secondarily is closest to my house or closest to my work. Those, and then it'll be nice. It'll help somebody else. So that's kind of mine. Like, it can be anywhere in the area that I nominate. So if I look at the map, in a level 14 cell, right?
Yeah.
If I'm looking at a level 14 cell, and it's the second thing in there, I will prioritize that for an upgrade, or if it's closest to me. So I have to go back and look at my my nomination queue, my contributions, and see what is if I have anything that will create a gym, or if there's something that is pretty close to me, but I just need to double check and see if it's something that I really want to use an upgrade on. So there we go. Look at this. What do we have on the screen here?
So Tintino said, "Hello, explorers. Thank you for your patience while we worked on the fix. The Wayfarer team has applied a fix, and we can already see the fix having a positive impact on upgraded resolutions. With the Wayfarer Challenge over, it should now take a couple of days before upgraded submissions return back to normal resolution times. We will continue to monitor the progress and keep you updated." So I was doing some reviews yesterday, and I noticed I had a bunch from places that I've never been, which tells me that those are upgraded nominations. So I think that, and then someone replied with, "Thank you for the update. Would you please clarify that this fix is going to impact previously upgraded nominations and not just future upgrades?" I replied, right there. It was a good question. So I replied, I took the part that says we can already see the fix having a positive impact on upgraded resolutions to mean that the solution working on submissions that are already upgraded. And Niantic replied, agreeing with Gohantajar, the fix should fix every upgrades, including the ones still in queue or being voted on. So,
right, that's awesome.
Got stuff that's already upgraded.
I love it.
Should be good.
I love it. Now, Chris, before we get off of the upgrade topics, I want to ask you a strategic question here when it comes to upgrades. So, and this is a personal Gohantajar, Professor Glau. This is your personal. What I want to know: do you prioritize upgrades for POIs that are in voting or POIs that are in queue? What's your personal strategy?
Ooh, once something's in voting, I just leave it.
Okay. Now, is that because your area has a quick turnaround time, or is that just something that you feel like it's wasting an upgrade?
I feel like you're wasting an upgrade at that point. Unless it's been in voting for like a week or two.
Mm-hmm.
But once something goes into, like, it might just be because I have such a quick turnaround time here.
Mm-hmm.
But I've noticed the longer things are in voting, the less chance they have to get approved.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
I think once it's in voting, if you have enough people who are just going to vote to approve it, they're just going to vote to approve it, right? So,
gotcha.
Should fly through.
So this is, can I share something with you on screen, and then I'll explain to our audio listeners what they're looking at? So I want to test that theory. All right. So I'm sharing this on screen for our YouTube people. And thank you guys for watching our YouTube. We really appreciate it. I just want to say this. The people watching YouTube increases every week. And there's some people that we found out that are only YouTube. And they message us and said, hey, I just watched the show, not listened to the show. It's awesome. Thank you. We'll get into that. All right. So for the audio listeners, what I'm showing Chris right here is, it's called Beechwood Trailhead at Latta Nature Preserve in Charlotte, North Carolina. So, Chris, first of all, take a look at this picture. I thought of you when I took this picture. So what you're looking at is what you would call stereotypical like map of a trail system. So it is a picture. It's a kind of a roof that kind of slanted. It looks like aluminum, but I believe it's like treated wood. And it has a picture of the trail, all the trails on it. And then it's kind of like, it's got the pilings going up and down. How would you rate the picture, first of all?
That's beautiful. That's a great picture.
So I tried to get all that in there. And then the supporting picture is a kind of a side view showing how it's laid out, and it shows the parking lot, and then past the garbage can you can see the railing where the trail starts. So I wanted to give kind of the nominator like everything that they needed to be successful when when reviewing this nomination. All right. So the reason why I pulled this up and the reason why I wanted to ask you the question for scientific purposes, it's in voting, and look at the date. I put it in. Look at the date.
Wow.
4/30 of 2023.
Yep.
So we're talking May 3rd. So we're talking a month and a couple of weeks, right? So we're talking 40. Let's call it 45 days. It's been in voting pretty much the entire time. So if you look back, I'll bring up a couple others in my area. April the 22nd, April the 20th. This is another really good one. Actually, that one's in queue. Hold on, let me find one here. April the 13th. Right. So you see in my area, like nothing would ever last this long in your area. So what I'm trying to do is trying to be strategic in what I use my upgrades on and what I don't use my upgrades on. So that's why I will mainly only use the upgrade on something that's going to create a gym for Pokemon. Because you see, I have a lot in there that are in voting. So one of the ways I like to think about it, Chris, is personally for people out there who have a long wait time. If there's something that I really want, I will use my upgrade on something that's in queue because the upgrade will kick it into in voting in theory. So it will kind of jump the other ones because you can't really pick what goes into voting. So I didn't mean to derail what you were talking about upgrades. I just wanted to kind of get your opinion on that because I know there's other people out there like me that have a long wait period. And upgrades are kind of the lifeblood. Like if I don't have an upgrade, things don't get through.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. It would be interesting to see how much quicker something in voting resolves itself versus how long it would take you to get something that's in queue to resolve itself with an upgrade. I have two. So those stuff that I nominated, we talked about a little while ago in Toronto.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
One of them finally went into voting.
That was when you took your wife to the train station, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. One of them finally went into voting, and I still have two of them in queue. So maybe I'll upgrade to both of them and see what happens. Because I have a third one that I can use as a control that's still just waiting.
So I can do the same thing because I have 3 upgrades. So what I can do is I can nominate, or I can use an upgrade on 2 from the same day, one that's in voting and one that's in queue, and see what goes through quicker. Now the only problem is they're in the similar level 14 because I kind of nominated them in blocks.
Oh yeah.
So I might need to find ones that are kind of on opposite sides of town, so one doesn't take priority over the other. So let me do a little research on that, and I can update the listeners next week because I will use 2 of the upgrades and see what I can figure out. Sound fair enough?
Yeah. I just all 3 of those are in the same cell.
Yeah.
Level 14 cell. So like all the 3 of them in Toronto, they're all on the same train station, right? So they'd be on the same. So I don't think that would work.
Yep.
Anyway, I use your upgrades. If you want something bad enough, I say use your upgrades.
And I'm gonna have a bunch of upgrades coming from the challenge. So I don't know. Anyways, you have this later on in the show notes, so I won't get into that. We'll wait till we talk about that later. So I don't want to go ahead. All right.
All right.
Trainer J.
Here we go.
Trainer J.
Pokemon Trainer J asked about, and I apologize to Sarah Amanda in advance, the Pikmin Bloom map sync and Niantic Support G said, "Hi all, we wanted to let you know that we're currently unable to provide a specific timeline for this when this work will be done. However, we've passed along your comments to our team. We appreciate your patience and understanding." It's a really vague answer. Doesn't instill a whole lot of confidence that the sync is imminent, but take it for what it's worth.
Well, I remember I was specifically told that I could not say Pikmin Bloom and Map Sync in the same sentence. I was told that very passionately by Sarah Amanda, but I do appreciate Trainer Jay taking up the mantle for her. So, but that's a super vague answer. So that's what people would say. That's Niantic being Niantic right there.
That's Niantic being Niantic. Yeah. But I wanted those listeners and viewers who do play Pikmin Bloom to know that there are people out there who are putting pressure on Niantic to update the maps. So, what else? Somebody asked about edits on the contribution page on the forum, and Niantic replied, "This is still on our roadmap to include the Wayspot edits as part of the contributions page." So it is on their radar. I don't know when it's going to happen. I'm fingers crossed by the end of the year. But hopefully, right? And we'll talk about that little bit later in the back end of the show.
Right.
And so Chris, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, you know what we need to do, Chris? For the people who are going to be in New York City for GoFest, or even if not, I don't even know why I said that, but what I would like to do for the listeners is Chris and I are trying to figure out how and when we can meet up with some of the Wayfarer team in New York. We anticipate at least being able to have a conversation with members of the Wayfarer team. So if there's things that you want us to ask them specifically, I know the Wayfarer discussion Discord is awesome, and the ambassadors get questions all the time. But we're not ambassadors, but we do anticipate having a conversation at least with Centino, if not Tib, or some other people. That's some of the things we're working on. So if you have specific questions that you want Chris and I to ask them when we talk to them, hit us up on our socials and let us know. The ambassadors are doing great work behind the scenes and up front, but if there's something specific that you want me or Chris to ask, let us know.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And I'll put that out on Twitter too, right before we go, right? Like a week before we go, to get some ideas there too. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I am looking forward to it also.
And last, real quick, the last bit of news, the rejection emails look like they've changed. You sent this to me.
I did.
It's still kind of vague, but I think they're better now. Honestly, it's at least kind of gives you a list of possible reasons for rejection, and then I really like the "what can I do about this rejection" section at the end.
Right.
It says if you feel this rejection is an error, you have two options. You can improve the nomination after reviewing the criteria. You can submit a new nomination in-game of the same location with the changes made. If you feel your existing nomination did fit all criteria, you can appeal the decision to Niantic using an accrued appeals in your contribution management page. Note that nominations can only be appealed once, and appeal decisions are final.
Yeah.
So,
and I want to send a shout out. Yeah, I want to send a shout out to Scyther's Kiss, one of our listeners, followers, who sent me a screenshot of their nomination, Pioneer Hill Dog Wash, and that was, Chris was reading for that. So Scyther's Kiss, thank you very much. I love that you DM me these things all the time to try to keep me up to date on what's going on with you. So big shout out to Scyther's Kiss. Keep sending those in. And for everyone else out there, send us things, DM, hit Chris up, hit myself up. It'll make it onto the show. If you want us to use your name, if you don't want us to use your name, let us know. But we really appreciate it, because I haven't had any decisions on any of my Wayspots to get a rejection email or to get any kind of email. So I'm kind of in the dark if something has changed. So if you guys see something different, hit us up, let us know.
Absolutely, yeah. I have 3 things in voting. I was kind of hoping one of them would resolve before today, so I could see if the approval email had changed, but no such luck. You ready to move on to topic number 1?
Yeah, I'm excited about this. Topic number 1. Let's go.
So let's go into topic number 1, debriefing the Wayfarer Challenges. So, as everyone knows, well, no, I shouldn't say everyone. There are some comments on the forum when they said, "Hey, the challenge is over," and people were just like, "Challenge? What challenge?
What challenge? You mean that big green bar that's been up here for a week saying that you're opted in and you need to opt out, and there's this number here? You mean that thing?"
Yeah. I'm fairly sure there's probably a few people who got there by accident. But we reviewed and resolved a total of 112,761 Wayspot nominations in Spain, Brazil, India, and Indonesia.
Wow. That's a lot.
Bonkers.
That is crazy.
So and to think, this is crazy, to think that the original global goal was 10,000.
I know. We blew by that like the first 6 hours or something crazy like that.
12 hours, I think it was. We were done.
My goodness, that is awesome.
Oh man, I couldn't believe it. And then kudos to the team, right?
Yes, for sure.
To be able to pivot the way that they did. But 112,000, that's crazy. They didn't give us, I think last time they said how many were approved and how many were denied. We didn't get that kind of.
They did, yeah.
We didn't get that level of detail this time.
I'd be interesting to know what it was because when it started off, to be honest with you, Chris, I think I said this last week, I had a lot of coal. Or I had a lot of things that I perceived as coal because I was trying to get used to Spain. But there was a lot of like graffiti, and it was good graffiti, but it was still graffiti. It was something that the city, the state, the county, whatever it is over there, may come and paint over. It wasn't like an approved mural. So I had a lot of those that were really good art, but they were graffiti nonetheless. So it took me a while to kind of get settled in to what I was seeing in Spain. But I would guess that first day or two was probably a lot of denials. If I was using, put on my Niantic hat.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. And I think they learned that lesson the last time with the Indonesia one, where they were just like, yeah, we want accepted only. And people were just like, you might want to rethink that.
Right. You might want to rethink that. There's a lot of things over here.
Doing all this work for nothing. 38,266 reviewers total. And I think some of that was people who logged in, did a couple of reviews, and were like, why am I getting Spain? Oh, it's a challenge. No. Right. Because only 5,356 Wayfinders reached the global 50 limit, right? So that's a big gap.
That's a huge gap right there. So
it's a huge gap, right? But 112,000 from 5,000 people, that's some people who did work. 2,797 hit personal tier 1, 902 hit personal tier 2, and 269 hit personal tier 3. I hit tier 3. I did just over 600.
Okay.
For the challenge.
So all right. This is what had happened was, all right. So I installed my plugin on my Mac, right? The Mac is what I use to do the show. The Mac is what I use to do edits. So I do all of the Wayspotter stuff on my MacBook, right? I did not install the plugins on my work computer. When I'm at work, I don't usually take my Mac to work. And so I ended up doing majority of my reviews either on my phone or on my work computer, just because I can just pull it up in the downtime. So I don't know exactly how many reviews I did. I did like 125 on my Mac where I can keep track of it. But I know I did more than that. I think I know I hit tier 2 for sure. I'm pretty sure I hit tier 3, but I don't really have a good way to add those all up because the ones I did on my phone, obviously I'll never be able to count.
Right. So let me show you this real quick. This is how I kept track.
Oh my God, you created a spreadsheet.
I did the same thing.
Audio listeners, wow. Okay. He created a spreadsheet. Chris literally has a spreadsheet that he created for this.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Continue.
I had this spreadsheet anyway because I like to track how many reviews I'm doing daily, and I like to track because I'm a numbers guy, right? So I like to track how many reviews I do daily, how many agreements I get daily. So I created a spreadsheet because I was doing some at home and then I was doing some at work, and I have the plugin on both computers, but you can't export one and then add it to another.
Correct.
Right? Because it'll just say, hey, if you're going to import this is your new review history. It's not going to add. I'm like, well, damn it. So I had to keep track. So that's how I know I did the 603.
See, you were way more ready for that than I was when I started on my Mac. And I'm like, okay, cool. I got 30, I got 50. I'm like, God, I got it. Then I got to then I went to work and I'm like, oh, shoot. I can't download the plugin on my work computer, or IT is going to come up and go, hey, what's this software you're trying to put on the computer?
Yeah.
And I'm like, shoot. All right. So then I got on my phone and I'm like, it doesn't really work that well on mobile. So I'm like, all right, I'm just kind of out. I'm not going to be able to see what I'm doing. So that was kind of a bummer, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure I got tier 3 because I reviewed a lot.
Yeah.
I was always putting screenshots in when I was doing it. So, it's okay. I'm okay with that. I can live with it.
Yep. Yeah.
So I love the spreadsheet. I absolutely love the spreadsheet.
I did. Yeah. It's great. It's very handy. And I've got it so that I can just copy, like on that one plugin, your stats, it says copy stats. I just plug it into the top there and it creates a nice little, copy paste thing that makes my life so much easier. So I did 1,363 reviews during the challenge.
Wow.
And I got 708 new agreements during the challenge. So 7 new upgrades that I earned.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it. I mean, that's great.
Only about 44% of my reviews during the challenge were for the challenge.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
44.
So how many upgrades do you have now? Do I even want to know?
That's a you question. 45.
Okay, that's outrageous, man. That's just outrageous. 45 emails. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I got 45 upgrades that I'm currently banking.
Okay. 45.
I'm up to 90. Nice.
I have 3.
You're gonna get like 7 more.
So. I know I'm gonna get a bunch more. So what I noticed, what was very interesting was once the challenges were over, my upgrade bar jumped way up. Like it was going really slow during the challenge, but as soon as it was over, I mean it went up 30 like as soon as it was over, which was really interesting.
Yeah, mine jumped up like quite a bit too. Like I just earned another one today.
Okay, so very nice. Okay, all right, Mr. 45 upgrades. You should you could support a small town or village with all those upgrades.
I could. I'm actually going to use when I go up to that little town we were talking about a couple weeks ago. I'm going to use all my upgrades there.
Okay,
because I'm sure those are going to take forever.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome that you're out there fighting the good fight, doing what you need to do. I like that.
Really. So I wanted to also talk about how you felt about the challenge. Like, what do you think went well? What do you think went poorly?
When it comes to that, I've been thinking a lot about that. And I want to say this. So I'm not a negative person. I think you know that. I try to see the positive in everything. Even if something is a negative, I just don't like to live my life like focusing on the negative and getting my blood pressure up and making my doctor mad and all that. So I don't think there's anything that would make me say, I'm never going to review again or any of this. I think it went pretty well. What I like from companies when they do things like this is a little bit of forethought. And even if it's like on the spot, I really appreciate it. So the fact that Niantic said, we are going to run out of Spanish nominations, whether that was Tintino or Tib or the ambassadors, it doesn't matter. And they flexed and they said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you some from Brazil. We're going to give you some from India. We're going to give you some from Indonesia so you can keep the momentum going. Because we could have this could have died on the vine after 10,000, right? Could have died. And it got 10 times more because it kept feeding the machine and feeding the beast. So that is a positive from it. Areas of opportunity. Niantic showed us that they have a leaderboard. They have the ability to run a leaderboard.
Yes.
Just show us. Just show us, right? Make us click a button that says you have my permission to use my name and my number, and people who opt out don't show up. But this is like 2023, and I'm an information guy. You're a numbers guy. Like, show me what my progress is, right? Don't make me rely on Testone's plugin that only works on one computer. No fault to Testone. It's awesome. But I'm sure there was people like me that were, riding in a car or on public transportation trying to get in 10 or 15 reviews. And I can't put the plug-in on my work computer. I can only have it on my personal computer. So it's always going to be lacking. But if there was one thing that I would recommend to them is just show us. Maybe if the data is like 6 hours lagging, 12 hours lagging, doesn't matter. Show us the data, because that is going to motivate me. I could be at 497 and I need 3 more. I'll bang out the other 3. Just let me know. So that's an area of opportunity, and that might be a back-end engineering thing. I don't know, but that would be the biggest thing that I would suggest to Niantic is make that leaderboard live and show me the numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. I think I wrote an article for GoHub. It's not live yet, but I wrote an article about this. And that's what I said, kudos to the team, right? The ambassadors and the Wayfarer team did a fantastic job, a masterclass on how to handle all of this. Because you're right. They could have said, hey, guys, congratulations. We reached 10,000. Challenge is over.
Right.
And then everyone would have been like, hey, good job, everybody. High five. And then we would have moved on with our life. But instead, they pivoted, got us those extra 3 countries, and we got 112,000 nominations for all.
So cool. So cool.
Crazy.
Those are crazy numbers.
100%, I would love to see the leaderboard. I would love to be able to say, this is where I'm at, regardless of where I am. It's a fantastic idea. I want to see. I know Prince Padov I think he said he finished 3rd. And I saw the number of reviews that he did. I think he was like at 6,000 or something like that. I'm like, okay, I'm probably not making the top 10, but
definitely.
I want to know, am I top 100? Am I top? Like, I know because I hit tier 3, so I'm at least top 269. That's cool. But I want to see where I am, right? And that would motivate me as a numbers guy to push myself even more. To say, hey, I'm 6 behind this guy. I'm going to bang out 40 reviews.
Right,
past
exactly.
7 people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And then
if you were to...
Yeah, go ahead.
Even if you were to say, hey, top 10, you got a little extra bonus.
Right.
Yes.
Make
the top 10, you'll have people who will just like take a week off of work.
I was just going to bring that up, Chris. I was going to bring that up. I think some people did take the challenge week off for PTO because some of those, I don't know how they were. I don't know. Some people like literally reviewed all night, reviewed all night.
Had to.
Yeah. So one of the things, here's one of the things I noticed. Did you hear anybody on Reddit or Twitter talk about cooldowns? I think they turned cooldowns off.
They must have.
They had to.
They must have.
There's no other ways people would be able to review that much without the cooldowns.
Yep. I got a couple of times. I got that little captcha prove you're not a robot checkbox, but I thought for sure I was going to get a cooldown at some point during that challenge, and I never did.
Never got a cooldown.
The only other note that I would have, and this is just little kind of, maybe it's more the Pogo team than the Wayfarer team. I would like to see those rewards balanced a little bit better. Because I think Ingress kind of gets way more of a bonus than the Pogo players do. Don't get me wrong. I am going to use the heck out of those super incubators that are coming to me.
100%. Remember I said that.
For a Larvesta, but...
Yeah. Oh, I have 3 Larvestas now. So if you need one and you don't have one by New York, I got you.
All right. Sweet.
Remember I said that a couple shows ago that the Ingress rewards were way better than the Pogo rewards. And I'm determined to get to level 16, so I'm going to put those to good use.
Yeah, I got to get to level 10, so I'm gonna definitely. I want to get to level 10 before the next challenge. So
right. Yep.
That is definitely my goal there. But yeah, I think it went well. I think that they did a fantastic job. I don't think that there's much they could have done better. Next time around, I think that my suggestion for the Wayfarer team is pick a continent and say, hey, we're going to do Africa, or we're going to do Europe, or we're going to do
America,
Oceania, or,
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Or Charlotte, North Carolina.
Right.
Do North America.
Right.
Maybe they do a challenge for North America.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah.
There's lots of places in North America that could use the help. But I think that way they wouldn't have to pivot. I think what's going to happen next time, this is my gut feeling, is they're going to say, hey, here's 3 sets of 4 countries.
Right. I can see
Vote on which set of 4 countries you want to do, and then they'll do the same thing. They'll give 3 or 4 days for one, 3 or 4 days for the next, and then they'll just kind of rotate through all 4, and then right at the end they'll give us all 4 at the same time. And then that'll be how they handle it next time. So that
what would be one country you would like to see?
Ooh.
Or what region would you like to see? Yeah.
The language barrier might be difficult, but I would love to review in Japan. I might set my bonus location to Japan for a bit.
Yeah. Wait, I need to go in and change my bonus location back to where it was. I need to change it back to Canada.
Yeah. So I am going to look at the responses that we got to that tweet, and I'm going to pick a country. I haven't done that.
That's right. Yes. Yeah, we need to look at that. So
I want to know. I want to do some reviews for an area that needs it.
Yep. Should we do the same area, or should we do maybe the top 2 vote getters? You do one and I do the other. What do you think?
I think let's split it up. I think we should.
Okay, we'll split it up. Okay, cool.
So I'm going to do that. Why don't we do this? I'm going to tweet it out again.
Mm-hmm.
And to anybody who's listening or watching, find the tweet, reply to it, and Jamal and I will pick a location on Wednesday.
Sounds good. We'll do that on Wednesday.
And then that'll give people a few days to kind of put their votes in, and we'll take the people who replied to the first tweet because I don't want to leave them out.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll pick a couple people and we'll let people know on Wednesday. That gives people some time to kind of think about it and get their.
Yep. So I know we got 2 votes for Norway. I saw that already.
Yes.
And we know who those 2 people are.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually wouldn't mind that.
I wouldn't mind that either. Yeah, I need to brush up on my Norwegian.
Yeah, exactly. Give me a chance to practice my Norwegian. One last thing before we move on to topic number 2. Just a reminder, eligible explorers, the rewards will go out starting yesterday, through June 21st. So if you haven't received anything by the 21st, then maybe give the Wayfarer team an email. Typically, I think last time we got the upgrades pretty early in the rewards period, and then I didn't get my code until 3 or 4 days before it was supposed to end. Right. So you'll probably get your upgrades in the next day or so, and then your code towards the end on the 15th.
Yep, sounds good. Right around the time I'll be leaving for my vacation, so I'm looking forward to that.
That's right. There you go.
Ooh, maybe I can. You know what? Maybe I'll save an upgrade, and because I'm a dork and because I like to annoy my wife, I've already scoped out our resort, and I've already driven the Google car around, and I've found 4 POIs on the resort that are in open cells that I can nominate. Ooh. Maybe I'll save an upgrade and try to upgrade it as soon as I get there, and hopefully it goes through before I leave, and then I'll have a fresh new spot to spin.
That'll be cool. If you can get that, I definitely want a gift for sure.
Oh, for sure. Oh, I'm gonna flood you with gifts every day from the Dominican Republic, so don't worry about that. I'm gonna flood you with gifts.
You have to remind me to open them because I'm terrible at that.
Right. Hey, Chris, open your gift if you want another one.
Exactly. Trust me, people are just like, hey, I'm going on vacation. Open your damn gifts. They'll ping me every single day.
Yeah.
I'm really good if people ping me. I'm like, yep, no, I'll do it right now. But I'm not so good if people don't ping me. All right. So that is the challenge all wrapped up. Topic number 2. I put out a tweet just randomly, and I know this is what we talked about when I was a guest on the show way back in the 40s.
Episode 44.
Episode 44. That's right. Yes. I asked people if they could change one thing about Wayfarer, what would it be? More to prompt conversation than anything else. I was just kind of laying there on my couch on a Monday, and I was like, yeah, people talking, right?
Right.
But I got a couple good responses, and I wanted to talk about it. And the first one especially. So Augmented Nature 1 came up with this idea, and I almost fell off my couch when I read it. It was so good. Campfire. Being able to have Campfire say, hey, there's currently a nomination near you in voting. Go here and review it in person. So you could stand where they have nominated something in real time, where they stood to take the picture. Yeah, I thought it was a brilliant idea.
I love it.
Absolutely brilliant.
Now, do you think that would work better in Campfire, or do you think that would work better in the Wayfarer app, or both?
Oh, I think for sure it would work definitely better in the Wayfarer app, but I don't know if Niantic is at a point where they want everybody downloading that just yet. You know what I mean? Whereas Campfire is something that they're really going to start pushing once it's global. And I think I would really, and this, I go back and forth on this since I've read this. Because you can message people in Campfire.
Yes, right? You can. Yes, I love it.
It would be really cool if you could maybe be able to say, hey, I went to this nomination and I reviewed your nomination, and I voted to reject it. Here's why. And send them a message and you would have to filter that.
Yeah, you will. Yes,
really, really well.
Because you don't want bullying or anything like that. But that's a really good idea. Yeah,
it would be interesting to be able to give real-time feedback to someone.
Real-time feedback,
and say, even to say, and, you know, this is super dangerous, and I don't even know if I want to suggest it or not. Be like, hey, I'm here. Do you want some help improving your nomination? Right. But I think that might lead to problems. You know, but it'd be really cool in a perfect utopia to be able to say, hey, I rejected it. Here's why. If you want, I'm going to be here for the next hour or so. Pop down. We can have a conversation. I can help you.
Well, it could be one of those things also. Now that I think about it, I'm kind of thinking about this in kind of real time, and opt in, right? You say, yes, I am 18 or over, or I'm 21 and over, whatever your local is. I click a button. I agree that I want other Wayfinders to be able to contact me. I click a button. I agree that I will allow other Wayfinders to message me, right? So then you do all these kind of security checks to opt in. Then you can do what you said. That way you're not reaching out to some kid or someone who doesn't necessarily want to be contacted. But like me, I'd opt in like, hey, I'm here on 3rd and Main. Come talk to me, you know? Something along those lines.
100%. I would love that. That would be great. Right. And then you could meet other Wayfinders in your area.
Right.
Maybe collaborate a little bit. Right.
Yeah. Collaboration.
I think you'd have to be super careful about that.
Right.
And you'd probably have to have some thick skin. But I just thought that reviewing in real time where you are, it's such a great idea, right? Because then you can say, hey, yeah, it absolutely is, 100% is here, especially for areas that are like new construction. So especially in areas that are new construction, that aren't necessarily on satellite view or street view, that people are just kind of like, ooh, is it really there? I don't know.
Right.
Because I have no... But if you're there and you're physically standing in the location and Campfire says, hey, I've used your GPS. I know you're standing there. If you're telling me that it's there, I'm going to put more weight to your review.
You're getting super creepy now, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Well, you know what I mean, right? Like
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Campfire will know that you're there. And maybe even you could say, hey, I'm going to take a picture of it.
Yeah.
And have their fancy AR technology match the two pictures
Right.
And then maybe you get your nomination.
We're talking about
quicker,
real time. Like, oh, this is so awesome. Augmented Natural One had a great.
Yeah.
Great.
So I think out of all of the ideas that we have given Niantic for free, I think this is the best one.
I have an idea, Chris.
What's up?
We hadn't talked about this before, so this is live on the air. Augmented Natural One. Hopefully you're watching the YouTube, but I have a Wayspotters t-shirt right here. So if you're listening to the podcast, reach out to us, reach out to myself or Chris. And if you feel comfortable sending us your address, I will mail you this Wayspotters t-shirt. It is a size extra large. It's a men's extra large. So if you want it and you're listening to this, reach out to us and I will drop this in the mail. So you will have a Wayspotters t-shirt. You cool with that, Chris?
Great idea. That's a beautiful idea. I love it.
Yes. So that's one of the best ideas we've heard in a long time.
Yeah,
that's actually our last t-shirt, so I don't have any more to give away.
I think honestly, that is the idea that we've been waiting for.
It is. Yeah, so Augmented Natural One on Twitter. Reach out to Chris or myself or the Wayspotters account. If you feel comfortable, send us your address and we will drop that to you. It won't cost you a dime. We'll pay for the postage, FedEx, wherever. Hopefully you're not somewhere really far away like Australia or India or Japan, because I've already committed and said it on tape that I'd pay for it. But anyways, it's out there now. So send us your information and we will send you a Wayspotters t-shirt.
Yep, absolutely. I also, somebody suggested a Wayspot nomination approval badge. For because you can get the Portal Recon
right in Ingress
medal in Ingress, and then there's the Wayspot one in Pogo.
Right.
But I would love one, but there's nothing for nominations. That's only for reviews, right? I would love to see one for approvals.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. Either on the community forums or on the Wayfarer app or somewhere. But I get it. Yeah. That would be great. Or Campfire,
or even on Campfire,
that would
badges on Campfire.
Yeah, love that.
People love badges.
They love badges and they love stickers.
Yes. I get fun of a lot for telling people that I love stickers.
Right.
I got into a conversation one time. It's like, I bet you're one of those people that loves stickers too. And I'm like, why wouldn't you? Like, how does that hurt you? Like, who hurt you? A
sticker. Yeah, who hurt you? Show me on the doll where that man hurt you. I put a sticker on every gift I send out. I'm very diligent about making sure every gift I send out has a sticker.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty good about it too.
Yep.
Number 3, edits on the contribution page. I honestly think that they need their own tab. So I think that when you go into your Wayfarer, you have your contributions, and I think there needs to be a little drop down there that says, I want to see my edits or I want to see my Wayspot nominations, because I have like 300 edits, right? And I know there are people out there, like Sarah Amanda probably has 300,000 photo edits, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Alone. That would just bung up this page so much, right?
Right.
Like you don't want it in here. You want it on your separate tab. So I think you should be able to click on contributions and it'll bring down like a little drop down right here underneath that says edits or nominations, right?
Yep. I think so. I think that's a winning idea.
So because it's on their roadmap, I wanted to bring it up because I know someone listens. I know they're listening. Maybe not every episode, but most of the episodes.
Then they get caught up. They get caught up when they miss a few. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm sure they listen to everyone. And the last thing that I thought was discussion worthy, and it's something that I've brought up before, was Woodward's Wolf said, change the review process to involve current acceptance and rejection criteria instead of asking, is this historically, culturally significant, or is this visually unique? Ask, is this a great place to exercise, be social, or explore? And I love that. That's fantastic. Because that is great. Honestly, the number of people who are reviewing out there who are just like, no, this playground is not culturally or, significant, and they hit 1 star, and then they don't know that's hindering that getting approved, right?
Exactly. Because really, what playground is culturally, historically significant, unless it's like the playground at like Ground Zero or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't say that in jest, but I mean, there's really no way to say it's it's a playground. Like it's a good place to get exercise and be social.
Exactly. And not everything that is going on to the map has to be culturally significant. And that's Niantic's even said that. It's in their pillars, right? If it's a good place to exercise, it's acceptable. It doesn't have to be 100-year-old, 200-year-old gym that
Absolutely. It doesn't have to be some of the stuff in Spain that goes back to the 1690s or whatever.
Right.
But if you listen to season 1, when we talked to Dan Vocat, and we had talked about something that was on their old roadmap was the red, yellow, green, kind of the stoplight idea.
Right.
I guess I maybe want to know from Niantic, is that still in the roadmap or not? Because I kind of like that idea. I've always wanted kind of a yes or no, but then, like I said, there's nuance.
Yeah.
So the stoplight, that kind of middle yellow, is kind of that nuance area.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm a big fan of the yes, no, because if you break it out to enough questions, I don't think that you necessarily need that middle ground. Mm-hmm. Maybe you do for some things. But like, you could just literally ask 3 questions. Is this a good place to exercise? No.
Right.
Is it a good place to explore? Yes. There you go. Right.
Yeah.
Or you just you click which of the 3 pillars does this fall into?
And if it doesn't fall into any pillar, then it's a no. So is it a good place to exercise? Good place to be social? And then
good place.
I like that. Good place to explore. So you click one or more of those, and then the 4th button is a no.
Yep.
And if it's a no, then you look at the other categories to see, is there some redeeming quality or is there some nuance in there that you can add in? But I like that. I like that idea. Yeah, I like that idea. Okay.
And it will allow more direct feedback, because the more information that you get from reviewers, the more information you can give back to the submitter.
Correct.
If you're rejecting it, you know what I mean?
Correct. Yep.
So I think the UI definitely needs an overhaul, because we're not getting stuff back to people. And somebody posted in the Discord a picture of a nomination that the supporting information was literally, it's not a duplicate. It's already in Ingress, but it's not in Pogo. I just want it to be in Pogo. And I'm like, that's not how this works, but
that's not how this works. Oh man. But see, that's someone who should be listening to the Wayspotters podcast, because we can explain to them why it's in Ingress and it's not in Pogo. And it's because there's something blocking it. There's something else in the same level 17 cell, or it's within 20 meters of something. So yes, anyways, I'm with you.
You know what I would love? I would love for that rejection email to say, hey, this is a duplicate. Here's the portal name, or here's the Wayspot name. Here's the games that Wayspot appears in.
Oh, wow.
If you are not seeing it in Pokemon Go, it is because the inclusion rules forbid it from appearing in your game. Please do not submit it again. Right?
Wow. You're playing chess right now. You're playing chess, my friend. You're playing chess.
That level of detail. Or even add that line in that says this is a duplicate. If you're not seeing it in Pokemon Go, it's because the inclusion rules prevent it from appearing as a Pokestop. And then people would go, inclusion rules?
Google. Rules? What are inclusion rules? Yeah.
Right. And then maybe do a little bit of research. And there's people out there who would just be like, and you're wrong.
Right. I'm looking at IITC right now, and that's not the case.
I don't see it.
I don't see it.
Right. So you shouldn't, honestly, at this point, submit a duplicate because the nearby map when you're submitting stuff shows you all of the way.
There's that little slider you could well, that's only if you're submitting in Pokemon Go. If you submitted Ingress, that's not there yet. That functionality is not in Ingress.
I didn't know
it's
that.
Not. Yeah, it's not in Ingress. So yeah. So that gets a little bit hairy. But I'll say this, and I'll try not to sound like a gatekeeper or sound like an elitist, but I feel like the people who nominated Ingress kind of know that already.
They should, yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, I don't mean to be a snob, but I kind of feel like the people who nominated Ingress kind of understand how the game works, not to make the Pokemon Go people sound not knowledgeable, but I would venture to guess that there's probably more people nominating who don't know all the rules in Pokemon Go than there are in Ingress, because Ingress is a lot more niche, and you have to know about the map in order to be successful at Ingress, because you can't create big fields without ever looking at the map and planning it out, so you understand how the POIs are spaced. Is that a fair way to put it?
Okay. No, 100%. I completely agree. Yeah, there's definitely a knowledge gap there between Ingress and Pogo. Not to say that there aren't people in Ingress who don't know what's going on, but I think the number of people who play Ingress who don't know is far, far fewer than the number of people who play Pogo.
Yep. I think that's fair.
I think that partially has to do with there's just so many more people playing Pogo than there is Ingress. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I think that Niantic really needs to come out with a way that's like an app that says, because even if you're like in Pogo, if I'm trying to nominate something that's not where I am, like the other day, I realized that there was a person in one of the pictures that I submitted in the main photo. I took like 6 or 7 pictures, and then I went home, and when I submitted it, I realized there was a person in it, so I withdrew it and resubmitted it with a photo that didn't have a person in it, but I did it from home. And when you go, it won't show you the nearby.
The nearby, right?
Yeah, it won't show
you. Dude, once you get to the next level in Ingress and you're able to nominate through Ingress, your world is going to change.
Yeah.
Because you get an extra 15, because you can do 25 kilometers in Ingress, and it's only 10 kilometers in Pogo. So you have an extra 15 kilometers. Yeah, you have an extra 15 kilometers. So if you are like, the place you go with your parents, if it's a little more rural and you get further away to get signal, you've got an extra 15 kilometers that you can nominate and do it from there. It comes in so handy. Like, even in your biggest city, let's just, it's not a apples to apples comparison, but kilometers to miles, 25 miles. I think it's actually like 22 miles, 25 kilometers, maybe 20 miles, right?
Right.
20 miles is a long ways.
It is,
In most North American cities, 20 miles will get you from one side of the town to the other. Would you agree with that? So 25 kilometers is that it's a game changer. At least it was for me.
I actually, it's funny enough, I noticed that it was wrong when I was at work, and I went to try and resubmit it from work, but it was too far away.
Right.
So I had to wait
once
until
you get to the next level in Ingress. You won't have that problem. You'll be relieved of that problem.
I'm going to push after Axu Day and do a bunch. So
nice.
Fingers crossed I'll get there.
All
right. I think we beat that all to death. We're running a little bit long here. So real quick, right before we go to break, I got 3 new reviews that I wanted to read.
Ooh, new reviews.
Yeah. I think that these are great reviews.
Okay. Let's pull them up.
Number 1. That is, so I don't have them. Actually, yeah, here, just share this instead. There you go.
All right. And through the power of, there we go. All right.
So the first one comes from PokeJD via Apple Podcasts. He's in Great Britain. This is from April. So apologies that it took us so long to get to these. The notifications slipped through both of us.
Right. Right through the 5-hole.
Right through the 5-hole, yeah. Chris and Jamal are clearly passionate, and their dedication to Wayfarer Niantic gaming community is inspiring and interesting listen, even for those who are not hardcore Wayfarers but do have an interest in Niantic games. Keep up the good work. So thank you,
thank
Pokey
you.
JD.
Thank you,
that was
Pokey
fantastic.
JD.
We love hearing that.
Yes.
Next, this one is. I love this username. I didn't read it before. I just read it now.
I looked at it. I'm like, all right, Chris, this is all you.
Me Tarzan, me want eat meat. One of the greatest usernames I have ever seen in my entire life.
That is fantastic.
Via Apple Podcasts. He's from the US. I started listening to this podcast at the beginning of the year to learn tips about nominating, and since then my success rate has increased to 75 to 85% approval. I created a wealth of spots in gyms in my once barren town and have branched off to side roads and other small towns to populate those on my drive home. Jamal seems like a cool guy, and Chris seems very knowledgeable also. Thanks for the tips, and my town owes at least half of their Pokestops to this podcast. 5 stars. That is fantastic. That's fantastic. We love to hear that.
So, he got it right. I'm kind of a cool guy, and you're the smart one. He nailed it. He got it. Like, he understands. He understands this podcast. He got it.
100%. It really warms our hearts to say.
It does.
To hear people saying, "Hey, I'm listening to you guys. I'm learning stuff, and they're going out there and they're doing the work. So keep up the good work."
I love it. Meet Tarzan. I love it because now what you've done is you've created a community for your area. Yep. So it's not just, you have your name on the POI or whatever, but there's people that can earn coins. There's people that can play community day. There's people that are getting spawns. I mean, it's huge. I love it. That's why we do this podcast. So thank you so much for that.
Yep. 100%. Absolutely.
And the 5 stars.
And the 5 stars. Yep.
Yes.
And finally, this one is from Antmeister. They're from Great Britain also. Love your work, guys. A very niche, interesting subject, but delivered with panache and comedy gold. Developed to a regular Sunday feature.
So, yay! I love the header on this one. One of a kind podcast found by accident. I would love to know the story behind that. How did you find us by accident? I would love to know the story there.
Yeah, actually, you know what? That's really interesting. Shoot us an email and let us know how you found the podcast, because I would really like to know that. But it's cool to know that people are discovering us and listening, and they enjoy our level of comedy.
Yeah, absolutely.
We definitely have a lighthearted approach to this, but we are very serious.
Yeah, we are very passionate about what we do, and me want Tarzan to eat meat. The fact that you were able to create, I mean, it's great. I love it, and
it's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
So, if you haven't yet, go leave us a review. We love reading them. We will read them on the show. We love hearing stories about how we've helped you or how we've inspired you to go out there and do Wayfarer and put POIs on the map. That's why we do this podcast. We do this podcast for you guys.
Mm-hmm. So we do.
All right. I think it's been about a little over an hour. So I think we should run to break and then do Wayspot of the Week and Call of the Week.
I got my best friend a fridge for his birthday. I can't wait to see his face light up when he opens it. When the grocery checker asked me if I wanted my milk in a bag, he gave me a weird look when I said I'd rather keep it in the carton. Failed my driving test today. The instructor asked me what I normally do at a red light. I said I usually check my emails, see what people are up to on Facebook. My boss told me to have a good day, so I went home. A rancher had 48 cows on his farm. When he rounded them up, he had 50. My wife told me that I ruined her birthday. I'm not sure how I did that. I didn't even know it was her birthday. Last night, I had a dream that I was a muffler. I woke up exhausted.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the dad jokes. They are hilarious this week. We are going to jump right into Wayspot of the Week. And let me pull it up here. This Wayspot of the Week is something I found. And I just love, you know how I love murals.
I know you do.
This is
especially two-story murals.
Yes, 2-story murals. This is a mural on the side of a 2-story building, and it is two people dancing. And there are yellow. It's very colorful. There's designs on the bottom of the one person's shoe, like in a cartoon number 6.
Mm-hmm.
There's yellow lines coming off the two people who are dancing. There's a blue swoosh across it. The whole wall in the background is white. One guy's wearing looks like a yellow puffy jacket. Mm-hmm. One guy's wearing a bright red shirt. They're both one person's wearing white gloves. The other person's got just their bare hand. I think it's a fantastic mural. It's beautiful.
It's a fantastic mural, yeah.
And I wanted to showcase that because I loved it so much.
I do. I think it's great. It's a great Wayspot of the week. So if you're one of our audio listeners, please go check us out on YouTube, and you can get us at youtube.com/then the @Wayspotters Podcast. You can go directly to the Wayspot of the week because Chris does an awesome job, like I said last week, of doing the index category chapters. So you can go right to Wayspot of the week and take a look at it. But it is fantastic. I love it. And I want some more of it. I think there was a country song that went something like that. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. So.
Yeah. So the name of this is Billion Buns Mural. And it was done by Vancouver artist Carson Ting, paying tribute to the influences of his life, music, boxing, art, bunnies, depicting bona fide people, including Drake, Daft Punk, a boxer and illustrator, and a hyper beast supporting BAYC shirt. So I thought that description was fantastic.
Wait a minute. That is Drake. That's Drake.
You know what? Yeah.
That's Drake. Now that I see the little heart cut into, that's Drake. And I see it now. Oh, wow.
I didn't catch that before.
Look
at that. I didn't catch it before either, but they both have bunny ears. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. And Drake's Canadian. So that's par for the course.
Makes the 6 on the bottom of his shoe makes more sense because he's from Toronto.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, I thought that was fantastic.
All right.
And the supporting information has a link to a website that has a description of the mural and the artist's Instagram.
Nice.
So I thought that was just chef's kiss. All of the information that you need about this mural in the description and the supporting information.
Beautiful. Love it.
All right, let us move on to Coal of the Week.
Oh wait, Coal of the Week. I love this part. All right, you ready? You ready for us to play the fan favorite intro here? You ready for it?
Drop the beats. I've been working on the Wayfarer all the live long day. I've been working on the Wayfarer just to pass the... Uh-oh. Oh, no. Hey, Jamal. I found some coal.
Love it.
So, when I saw this comes to us from Kroner in the... No?
This one comes from you. This is yours.
This is mine? Oh, yeah, this is mine, yeah.
This is yours, yeah.
This one is mine. I thought of you when I found this because of the title. So why don't you take this one?
All right. Okay. So what you were looking at here is oh goodness, let me pull this up so I have a bigger version of this. What you're looking at here is it's taken from the middle of the street. So you see the sidewalk, and then you see one of the white lines in the middle of the street, and it's from India, Maharashtra, I think, Nagpur. And it says King's Family Restaurant and Motel, which is really odd that it's like 100% English, like right in the middle of India. But anyhow, there's no like English Indian language at all. So it's not the greatest picture at all. I know we talked about we loved local restaurants, and I'm sure this is, but this picture is not really good. And the one thing that stood out to me, Chris, on this when I looked at it, besides the title and description, when I look at the picture, it appears to be a third-party photo because there is a watermark in the bottom left-hand corner of the photo. So
there definitely is.
But let's get on to the description. King's Family Restaurant is restaurant where people can get lunch, breakfast, dinner, ... People used to gather here in bulk. And I'm like, okay, all right. Yeah. Now I truly believe this is not a North American nomination because that's just bad grammar. It's just bad English.
That's the title too. That's not even the description. That's the title.
And it just looks so off-putting because it's in like 16, like bold letters. That's the title. So, and I'll read it again. I'm going to read it exactly as it says. King's Family Restaurant is restaurant where people can get breakfast, lunch, or people can get lunch, breakfast, dinner, ... People used to gather here in bulk. Okay. Yes. So that's cool, people.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. There's definitely a watermark on that photo too.
Yeah, there's a I think it's cut off on what we're looking at here. I think it's like, oh, there it is. There's the watermark. So third-party photo, really, really bad title and description, and Cole of the Week, number 1. You want to take number 2?
I will take number 2. So Cole of the Week number 2. Cole of the Week number 2 comes to us from Kroner in the Pokemon Professor Network Discord. It is Cowshed.
Be careful. Don't say that too fast.
The title is Cowshed. The description is cow shed for feeding cows, which is considered as a religious activity. Fair. Let's pull up the photo here. So there are a couple of things wrong with this. This is Jamal's favorite thing. It is a live animal. You are seeing the butt of a camel.
Oh, you just made me spit out water, Chris.
Yeah, I knew you'd like this one. It is, so you got a camel dead center in the photo.
Yes, it is right in the middle. Like the center of the photo is its behind and its tail. That is what is that's what draws your eye to it.
And it's like a little makeshift lean-to against a wall, and there's a person in the photo feeding a cow.
Yeah.
So it's doing what the description says.
It's true to form. It's a live animal, and a live animal. And
2 live animals.
Yeah, 2 live animals.
And a person. And a license plate.
And a license plate. Ooh, we should post this. We should go through nominations, Chris, and we should post it and have people find how many things are wrong with it. We could do it.
Yes.
We could totally do it.
Yes, I think we should do that.
Yeah. But I'm always going to skew towards the live animal over the license plate. That's just me.
Yeah. I think Kroner used the rejection reason license plate just to highlight, because they were fairly sure that other people would pick live animal, so he wanted to pick license plate to give them, because you get multiple rejection reasons in your contribution page, right? So
yes, you do.
It's always good to have that variety in your rejection reasons.
Yeah, I love it. That's great. Cole. That's really good. That's really, really good for Cole of the Week. I love that.
A couple of really good Coles of the Week this week.
Yep, really good. And that, oh man, look at that license plate though. That's a pretty good license plate there.
Yeah. That's clear as day. That is the textbook example of a license plate in a photo. That's no good. No bueno.
So Chris, before you sign off, can I throw out a little teaser for next week?
Yes, please do.
So a lot of people have said how they enjoy the dad jokes, and I appreciate that. But what Chris and I didn't know is the effect that the dad jokes have on the youth of the world. So we have a PSA that we're going to play next week that's going to run after the dad jokes that shows the effects of dad jokes on today's youth. So be around for episode number 75, where we will play a special PSA about dad jokes. So that's my tease for next week.
Yes, very important. Very, very important. And I'm glad that you mentioned that. So look for that next week. All right, I think we've gone long enough. It's a little bit of a long show this week. So thank you for listening to this episode of Wayspotters. We really appreciate it. Big thank you, as always, goes out to our producer, KatettheKonz. Really appreciate. Keep throwing those codes at me. I will get to level 10 in Ingress one of these days. We couldn't do this without you. Thank you very much. As to all of our patrons, thank you so much. We love interacting with you guys in the Discord. We love talking to you. I'm looking forward to meeting a bunch of you in New York for GoFest. If you like what you hear or like what you see, there are a few ways that you can show us. First of all, follow us on all of our socials at Wayspotters on Twitter. We are also on Instagram at Wayspotters Podcast and on TikTok at I Make Wayspots. We are incredibly responsive. We love interacting with our listeners. There's a few people that we've been DMing lately on Twitter. So if you want to join in on the fun, throw us a message. You can visit our website, www.wayspotters.com. From there, you can get the links to everywhere. You can download the show. You can also send us a message directly from the website or shoot us an email, wayspotters@pokemonprofessor.com. If you're not watching this on YouTube, you can go check out our YouTube in www.youtube.com/@Wayspotters Podcast. You do need the @ sign. We are currently at 77 subscribers, pushing towards 100. So if you haven't gone and subscribed, please do. We would really appreciate it. It really helps out the show. Helps it push it out to some new people, right? So there are people who are only watching the show on YouTube, and we would appreciate the extra support there. You can also leave us a voicemail on our hotline, 704-426-3710. I promise Jamal will not answer the phone. You never know. Your voicemail may appear on an upcoming episode of the show. You can also tweet us a voice message if you want, if you prefer. Finally, if you are not a member of the Pokemon Professor Patreon, you can join for as little as $1 US a month. That's $1.36 Canadian a month. All you need to do is go to patreon.com/Pokemon Professor. You'll have access to the Discord for the entire family of shows across the Pokemon Professor network, including Wayspotters, Special Conditions, Gotta Watch 'Em All, Purified Podcast, and Lured Up. It's a fantastic place filled with fantastic people. And it's very, very active. So if you're looking for an active Discord, that's where you need to be. With that, we look forward to you listening or watching, I guess, again next week. Thank you for listening to Wayspotters. If you're on YouTube, be sure to hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. It would really help out the show. And always remember, it's not that far. Get out of your car.